tech, and I would love to maybe even work for another channel of some kind, and if I could focus on online gaming, that would be great. But specifically MMOs, which are different than just random online games, by the way. But regardless, MMOs, I've covered a lot of them, and I've been very heated and passionate and loving toward the genre, mainly because, yeah, you know, it's fun. I like it as a consumer, but also, you know, I make some money on it, and everyone's always talking about it. It's never-ending supply of MMOs. There's always more MMOs, so it's just like, it's always something to do, basically. So it's hard to just, like, not care about it at all. Even people who don't play an MMO consistently today, or maybe have never played an MMO, you still know of MMOs, and you're still probably kind of excited about the future of the genre, aren't you? I mean, when Pokemon Go was announced, you know, we're like, whoa, is this going to be like a right proper MMO? What's this going to be like? Everyone was excited, right? So it's just always this genre that is always on the horizon, and there's always a plethoric assortment of different kinds of games coming over it. And there have been some other genres that have been emergent, such as looter shooter at the moment. There's been genres that have been very fad-like, so battle royales, and then we had MOBAs a couple years ago. And I just realized, you know, because I do top 10s, obviously I do list videos, and these things come in clumps, so it's easy to do list videos. Like, oh man, upcoming looter shooters, that's an easy video, and yes, that's upcoming. But when it comes to MMOs, obviously I've done more list videos for MMOs, upcoming list videos, full review type list videos. I've done just lots of rant videos on the number of MMOs that have come out. And I mean, over the years, I've done so many videos covering specific MMOs to, you know, talking about these grander concepts of the entire genre and how it's ever expanding or how it's dying. And I just realized this here right now, as I hit record, that unlike these other fad genres, unlike these other emergent genres, it seems like the genre of MMO, which it is a pretty broad umbrella, but still, it seems like people don't get tired of it. You know, like when it comes to battle royales, look at even when I was covering Spellbreak, which is something that people are hyped about, super excited, enthusiastic in every video that I've done, whether it has a lot of views or not. Generally, it's getting a lot of views, it's getting a lot of attention, but even in that video, people are like, oh man, this game looks amazing, but it's just another battle royale, I'm gonna skip it. So you look at this, and then of course MOBAs. Oh my god, another League of Legends clone. It's like, whoa, man. A lot of hate and toxicity towards new games when it came to certain genres, like, you know, riding the wave. But coming from like World of Warcraft, yeah, we had some WoW clones, but people would be like, yeah, that's kind of WoWish. That's a WoW clone, sure. But like, there was always tons and tons of MMOs, but it's like people just didn't get enough of it. Never. People were always still hungry, never satiated, thirsty. You guys just could not get enough fill of what I guess an MMO is. You know, you wanted more. You wanted more massivity. You wanted a game that, you know, was more realistic or had more physics or was more fantasy, more fantastic. You always wanted more in every direction. And that's because MMO as a term is super umbrella, you know? I would love way more MMO shooter games, FPS. Basically, we have PlanetSide and we kind of have Foxhole. And I think there's one called World War II, and then that's like it, basically. We need way more games like Trove as well. Trove is such a cool game, very actiony and very casual, very silly. You know, we could use some more stuff like that, sure. And then, I mean, obviously you have your World of Warcraft, you got your Guild Wars 2, but even then, you know, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy share a lot of similarities. And yet, I don't know, like, they exist in the same space and they can compete. Like, a lot of people say that you can't have too many MMOs. It's just too much competition. You know, it requires so many players. And I'm thinking, like, I don't know about that, man. I mean, to be considered massive, what is that, 100 players on a server? So if a game can hold, like, you know, 200, 300 players, and, like, that's a consistent player count, I mean, I don't know, man. Depending on how it's designed, that could be really freaking good, right? Maybe just have one zone, one instance, a couple world bosses that rotate around. I don't know. That's technically massive. You can have fun. Realm of the Mad God. Hey, guys, there's a nice little MMO that you can play. It's actually stupid popular, but I'm just saying. It was a micro MMO that really worked out. So there's like so many shapes and sizes that MMOs can come in, and I think we all know that we have yet to see the full potential of any one of those shapes and sizes, and we all know we have not seen all of the colors, the full spectrum of what MMO has to offer. We absolutely know it. And I think that's inherently because of technology. Like, it can only go so far, so fast, especially when it comes to internet connection or the general connection that people have generally around the world. That's kind of how MMOs need to work, which is why Korean MMOs are designed in one way, Blade and Soul, Black Desert Online, and Western MMOs are designed in another. So that's going to actually, I'm going to count Final Fantasy XIV as a Western MMO because it's designed in that respect. But yeah, games like Final Fantasy XIV, there's going to be games like World of Warcraft, the Rest in Peace WildStar. So yeah. Games like that. I think we all can see, we see what an MMO is, and we all know, no matter how good, great, amazing that MMO is, it's always like, from what we've seen so far, it's always like, okay, we can clearly see the compromises that occurred here because you made it an MMO. Now, when we look at a game like Dark Souls, it's like, holy crap, dude. Look at those hitboxes. Look at that. That is sexy. We look at a game like an arena shooter. Oh, man, these physics, rocket jumping hype. We can have all those little things in those games, but MMOs just can't really do that. And when they try, they have so far failed because, well, like, technology just isn't quite up there. It just doesn't kind of work. It doesn't run as well as it should. It doesn't play as well as it should. It's really hard to sport an MMO, and they just have to be designed in certain ways, which kind of shoeboxes the designs a little bit. So every time there's a new MMO, it's always exciting because a new MMO means, okay, where are we at? As a culture, where are we at with technology? What boundaries are being pushed here? Of course, you still have to hope that it's a good game. WildStar pushed some boundaries, but it kind of wasn't designed very well in a number of ways, so it failed. There's like so many games that can come out and have really cool ideas, technically, but like because it's an MMO, it doesn't quite work out. So a good example would be like Black Desert Online in the West. If you have ping issues, you're basically not really going to play the game. Like PvP is just not going to work, but it works great in Korea. So yeah, take that example. Darkfall as a whole just doesn't work. Give it arena shooter physics and arena shooter gameplay, but as an MMO in a fantasy setting, that is so sexy, man. Why aren't there more games like that? Have you played Darkfall? Then you might know. It's a little bit laggy. It's really hard to play like that, as in it's hard to enjoy it. And there's a number of other reasons why that game failed. There are all these games either fail or why they're not as successful. Sure. But just like critically, looking at it from a review point of view, it can't say it's great. Obviously, Quake is just better. That's the better arena shooter experience because it's in an arena. I'm not saying that an MMO can't have that. It could be really cool. It's just, are we there yet? I don't know. We got to wait for the next MMO to, show us otherwise. And, we're kind of seeing this with some new MMO, right? With like Crowfall. Crowfall had some really big ideas, and then they had to kind of scale back the action because it wasn't really working out. And I'm actually really dubious about Crowfall and the future of that. A lot of gameplay looks really trash, frankly. But the ideas are really cool. And I think that's the thing, guys, is that we love ideas. We love the future, just period. Sci-fi, fantasy, we just love imagining, what's over on that horizon. And we see these Kickstarter games, we see these new MMOs, and of course we envision like the best version of that game. So it's like a PvP MMO. Oh my God, this is going to be so amazing. It's going to be like Battlefield, but millions of players. No, it's not. No, it's absolutely not going to be like that. There's going to be compromises. But of course, we imagine that. We dream it. And that's kind of the magic of MMOs, is the dream, the expectation going in, and that wide-eyed wonder, that first experience learning these new systems. And then it comes to the point where you either get past the fact that it's not perfect because it won't be, because it's an MMO, right? You're playing with hundreds of other players. It's not going to be perfect. So you have to get over some speed bumps, and then you get into really what's the meat of the game, what makes it truly original as an MMO and fun. But you're always going to lack levels of polish. You're always going to lack just a full inclusivity of mechanics. So if you have a sword fighting game, it's either going to have good hitboxes or it's going to be filled with like cool skill shots and lots of really nuanced magical abilities, but it's going to be more like pick one of the three. Having all of those combined is just too much information being relayed to the server, to other players. It can become a clusterfuck. It's hard to design visually, mechanically. It's just difficult. A real big, truly massively multiplayer online game is just hard to do. But because of the skill ceiling of development, I guess you could say, and because of this player expression available to us, as a social online game, we want more. And we're always getting drip-fed MMOs. There's a million MMOs, man. There's so many MMOs coming out of all different player counts and different gameplay styles, always coming out, always just on the horizon. I love saying that, actually. Always there. But that's what I mean, is they kind of stick there. And even when a game does fully release, the original dream of that game is still on that, horizon. It's still, in the clouds. It's still always a dream and a concept. I think as a gaming culture, as a modern human society, I don't think developers have really learned how to make a good MMO. Even Blizzard, the king of MMO, or Final Fantasy XIV, super popular, they falter in most ways when it comes to the actual massively multiplayer component to it. Those games are popular for, frankly, different reasons than what actually makes them an MMO. Do you see world PvP in those games? That's what I'm saying. So I think that really the reason we have so many games coming out is because they're kind of piecemealing to us, kind of just appetizing us, and we're fine with it. And the reason that we're not full of it and we're still hungry is because I don't think we really have ever gotten a full-blown, true MMO. Like in every aspect, every way. You know, we've come close with vanilla World of Warcraft. Oh my god, so close. And there's a number of sandbox games that do it, like EVE Online, you know, that's really good. And Star Citizen is dreaming, oh dreamer, keep dreaming, right? But that's the thing, is there's always compromises. It's never a full-fledged, fully AAA experience. Oh, but you'll be paying for it. You'll be paying for it as well. That's a big issue we could talk about, is it's never a comfortable paying experience generally. There's a lot of good MMOs, right? There's a lot of fun stuff to be had. There's a lot of micro reasons to play individual MMOs, from RuneScapes with its amazing quests to if you want to play Elder Scrolls. I thought its world PvP was interesting. Guild Wars 2 with its like silly jumping puzzles, and of course World of Warcraft for the raiding. But like a fully inclusive world to just live in and be able to do all these features and have a fully featured player expressive character, you know, to have that dream, right? Of, oh my god, can we play Sword Art Online? It's not even the fact of it just being virtual reality or full dive or whatever, or augmented reality. None of that matters. I think that even at a base face value, we really haven't had a good MMO in a long time. One that actually full-fledged gave us the massive experience. So that's something that I would really appreciate. A game that is hyper-focused, that does what it wants to do and does it right. And we do have a couple of Kickstarter games that, of course, are promising that. Crowfall promising a really massive experience. Ashes of Creation is the obvious main one as well that we could pinpoint and show a spotlight on, and many others. But that's how it always is, isn't it? The MMO genre is always like that. It's always filled with dreamers, developers and players alike. There's always more, and we're always hungry. And maybe that's okay, because I'm somebody who loves experimenting. I love trying different things. But then again, the pure concept of an MMO is a game that you live in. It's online, it's a community, and you should do lots of different cool stuff in it, but it should, like, it needs to be livable, it needs to be realistic in some ways, it needs to be deep, it needs to just be a bigger game, maybe. I don't quite fully believe that. I think light games, even like Realm of the Mad God, is really fun, but I'm just saying, there is so much room when it comes to that concept of a massively multiplayer online game. What can we do in this type of game? And frankly, just because of technology, so far, we can't do a lot. And I think it's kind of sad. We can design around it, of course, your Realm of the Mad Gods, your RuneScapes, we can design around it, but it's been a while since we've had anything really, I think, truly innovative when it comes to the online aspect. You know, how many players? What can we do? Star Citizen is a hope, Ashes of Creation is a hope, but of course, that's kind of how it always is.